Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Culture Club podcast. My name is Oscar Dalton, currency collector, flag fanatic, and lover of cultures from all over the world. Today's episode will be on the Czech Republic, also known as Czechia. Without further ado, let's get into the culture. Czechia is a landlocked country in Central Europe, with a mostly hilly landscape within their small borders. It has 30,450 square miles inside its borders, or 78,866 square kilometers for my metric friends out there. 30,450 square miles is roughly the size of South Carolina, or slightly smaller than Pennsylvania. Czechia is bordered by 4 countries, Germany and Poland to the north, and Austria and Slovakia to the south. The official language of Czechia is Czech, obviously, but Slovak, German, Polish, and Belarusian are also recognized as minority languages. Around 64.3% of Czech citizens are ethnically homogeneous, being Czech-born or of Czech descent. Around a quarter of Czech citizens do not know where their ancestors are from, labeled on the Czech census as unspecified. The next most prevalent ethnic group in Czechia is the Moravians, with 5% of the population. The Moravians are an ethnic group found in eastern Czechia and western Slovakia. This ethnic identity was born in 883 with the Principality of Moravia, which had control of most of western Czechia, a bit of northeastern Austria, and even a small piece of western Slovakia. The next largest ethnic group is the Slovakians, with 1.4% of the population. This is not surprising when you realize that for most of the 20th century, Czechia and Slovakia were united. In 2020, there's about 10 million people in Czechia, and they have $432 billion American dollars in GDP, or gross domestic product, which is 36th in the world. They use Central European Time, which is also known as UTC+1, and drive on the right side of the road. That's all you really need to know about the basic facts of Czechia, so let's move on to the government and subdivisions part of the podcast. Czechia is a unitary parliamentary constitutional republic. This means that they have a prime minister and a president and a parliament. Every 5 years, the Czech hold a popular vote to decide who becomes president. The president really only runs the military, and also every 4 years gets to pick the prime minister. The Czech parliament is what is known as bicameral, which means that they have 2 houses. The lower house, known as the Chamber of Deputies, has about 200 members, and the upper house, known as the Senate, has around 81 members. Unique to Czechia, they use a different voting system for not only each house, but also for the president. The president is elected by a popular vote, the Chamber of Deputies uses the d'Hondt method, and the Senate uses the 2-round voting system. The d'Hondt method is my favorite voting system, and I could actually go on for hours about it. I might even make an episode about it in the future, but for now I'm just going to summarize. The d'Hondt method has voters rank a bunch of candidates on a list, from 1 to 10, based on who's running in their district. This has been proven by many studies to be the voting system that has the highest amount of voter approval at the end of the election, and the least amount of tactical voting. The Senate uses a much less awesome voting system, known as the 2-round system, in which there is a first round where anyone could run if they want to, but only the top 2 candidates move on to the second round, where whoever gets the most votes wins. The Czech Republic is divided into 14 regions. The 2 most populous Czech regions are Prague, the capital, and Central Bohemia, both with around 1.275 million people living in them. Prague, the region, not the city is a bit smaller than the actual region, is also the smallest and most densely populated region, being almost all of the Prague greater metropolitan area. Bohemia, however, is the biggest region in Czechia, and completely surrounds the Prague region. That's it for the government and subdivision part of the podcast. Let's get on to the cash. The Czech Republic uses the Czech koruna, which means crown, but as soon as they hit an undisclosed economic target, they are required to switch to the euro. The koruna's ISO code is CZK, and its ISO number is 203. The subunit is the halér, which is 1/100th of a koruna. If you're a native Czech speaker, please tell me if I'm saying that right. The frequently used banknotes are the 100, 200, 500, 1000, and 2000 koruna notes, along with the less frequently used 5000 koruna note. The coins that are used are the 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, and 50 halér coins. The Czech National Bank is the main insurance for the koruna, a Czech Federal Reserve, if you will. Czechia has one mint, which is the Česká. And again, I am so sorry to any native Czech speakers that might be listening to this. $1 will equal about 21 koruna and 66 halér, while €1 will equal about 26 koruna and 34 halér. That about wraps it up for the currency section of this episode, so let's move on to the flags. While I'm doing this flag section, I encourage you guys to Google the flags if you want to look further into them. The flag of Czechia has a blue triangle coming from the left side that takes up about a third of the flag. Coming from the point of the triangle is a line that separates the top white half and the lower red half. The red and white is the flag of Bohemia in the 1800s when it was last independent. The blue triangle was added in 1920 to differentiate it from the Polish flag and to represent vigilance, truth, loyalty, and perseverance. This is not an official definition because Czechia doesn't have an official explanation of their flag. Another theory of why the blue triangle was added was to incorporate Moravia, who joined the Czech Republic in 1918. I don't believe this, though, because the flag of Moravia is in the style of the Ukrainian flag, with yellow on top and red on the bottom. This flag was created in the early 19th century, but has been unofficially used in the region for years. That's all there really is for the flags of the Czech Republic. So let's get into some food and music. The first thing that comes to mind when many people say Czech Republic or Czechia is beer. Czechia has the highest beer consumption per capita in the world. They also have one of the oldest breweries in the world, with the Brevnov Monastery. What most people don't know, though, is that Czechia has a huge number of cultural dishes known around the world. One is rysek, or schnitzel, which is very popular in Czechia, even though schnitzel isn't Czech. But the Czech put their own spin on it with their traditional pork schnitzel and their Christmas-time trout schnitzel. The most popular Czech dish known around the world is goulash, or goulash. Goulash is a pork, onion, and noodle stew. This is pretty popular in America, where the pork is swapped out for beef, and longer flat noodles are substituted for the more traditional macaroni-like noodles. Quick fact on goulash: Czechia, Slovakia, and Hungary all claim to have invented the goulash, so I might have just wasted my time talking about it. Czech music is very similar to other Western music. They have a pretty big rap scene, and this is one of their most popular rap songs. It's called Žeme fajn by Earth.
Bylo to nevinný, šel jsem spát, ale zdály se mi bludy. V tom snu mi máma říkala, že bych už neměl huly. Prej užívej si mládí, ale nikdy bez gumy.
I thought that song was pretty good. It felt very relaxed, and it's just a song that I would listen to, hanging out with my friends. The song that has been currently topping the charts in Czechia, though, is called Srdce nehalatsu. I'm sorry, again, to any native Czech speakers. I'm probably just butchering your language, but without further ado, here is a bit of that.
Někdy se ví, co Bůh chystá, a že se nedají stihnout všechna místa, ale je to dobrák, altruista. Vždyť mi dal tebe, domov, přístav, a v něm si ty, celý můj svět. Laskavá náruč, zběsilý hned.
I hope the people listening in at home like that, and as I said, I think that would fit in perfectly in the Czech version of The Greatest Showman. But here is some Czech traditional music. I think it sounds exactly what you would expect Czech traditional music to sound like.
Aj, lásko, lásko, jak si ty marná. Aj, lásko, lásko, jak si ty marná. Jako ta
Well, congratulations. You've made it to the end of the podcast. If you liked this week's episode, please stick around for next week. Give us a follow and leave a good review wherever you're listening. You can get in contact with me on Twitter at CultureClubPod1, on my Facebook page as Oscar Dalton, and on YouTube as the Culture Club Podcast. See you next week.